Hey guys, welcome to El Dia Opina, which translates to the day's opinion. I am Dia, the day's opinion, and today I have a very awesome guest. She's a former Pussycat Doll, but that's only one of the things in her title. She's also now a Fox contributor and an outspoken conservative. Yay to Kaya.
Hey,
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
thank you for having me.
No, I really do appreciate it. Am I the first Australian conservative to have you on some?
Yes, I do. I think so. Yes. I haven't
Yeah.
interviewed with anyone yet. No.
Ha! Exclusive right here, ladies and gentlemen. So
I've never
good.
been to Australia. I want to go. Australia is really beautiful.
I'll pick you up from the airport. We'll have fun in Melbourne.
Done. Done.
Awesome. I'll give you all the sort of inside scoops.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what I'm saying, but no, it would be great if you came here because you have like music you're still promoting and all of that, right? You're one of the
Yeah, and we have new music coming out that I'm working on now, and just a lot about politics. And you guys have a lot of politics going on over there. You got a lot of craziness going on over there, I know.
it's a revolving door of our prime ministers. Like we can't seem to keep one before you. It's just like this.
Well, if they just got it right. I wish we could find another Trump for Australia. I think every country needs a Trump.
Oh, I so agree with you.
Every country. Canada needs a Trump.
Canada needs.
Everybody
Oh my
needs a Trump.
God, that's the one. You are Canadian. I read this about you, and I was surprised to figure that out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought she was American, which
Yeah,
you're
my
obviously
dad's
both. But
American. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm both. My mom is Canadian, Jamaican. She's Jamaican by birth and family, and then they moved to Canada to have me. And then my dad being Native American, so I have like two birth certificates. It's
yeah.
really weird. They're real.
I assume so. I didn't think
Well, I
otherwise.
say that because, there's a lot of questions with people lately that have, taken advantage of our system and a lot of other systems too. We're not the only country that people have taken advantage of systems.
Oh, this is
So
true.
I just,
Any Western society.
yeah, and it's unfortunate. So I think it's one of those things that unfortunately I have to convey and I want to convey because I feel people are going to say, well, if you have two, what does that mean? You have to kind
It's
of point it
dumb.
out.
I'm half Spanish, and I used to use a Spanish passport. It's been revoked now, but like at the time, I was using it to
Right.
all over Europe. Like, what? I don't even get
Well,
why
and
that's a
you're
thing.
allowed to be. I think that's the thing is there's this misconception that you can't be dual things. You can, and yes, you can. You can be Mexican American and be proud to be an American now, but you were
Definitely.
born in Mexico and you did it the right way and you got your
Mm.
citizenship. And there's some honor in all of that because the process is really hard to get your citizenship in countries. So when you go through all of those, following the rules and paying money to an attorney and all of those procedures, and then people just kind of just walk on and around you, it's a hurtful feeling. I can't imagine how that feels for a lot of individuals that have done things the right way.
Yeah. Well, talking in opposition to that in any way, shape, or form instantly makes you a white nationalist. It's like they can't.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like there's no medium. It's like I'm a first
Yeah.
generation Australian. You're to some degree a first generation American in some sort of strange capacity. Um,
Well, yeah.
yeah, because
My
you're mixed like I am, so
five, five, five.
it's hard to
Yeah.
define what you are.
My
But like,
dad is Native American, so he's
so
not.
you're
He's
no,
not. He's through and
exactly.
through. But on
So
my
you're as
mom's side,
American
I
as they
am.
come. Yeah,
On my
exactly.
mom's side, I am the first generation American because no one in our family, though they went to school in America and went
Mm.
to universities, they never became citizens. I think I have a distant aunt who became a citizen, but that's it
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
on my mom's side.
do you find that when it comes to the subject of immigration, it's actually what you just said was key. You said that people shouldn't abuse our systems, and that we or our parents or those people who
Hmm.
have gone and jumped all the right hurdles have done it the right way. So
Yeah,
that clearly shows we are pro immigration, but like
we
people
are.
say
I am.
I am,
I,
but people like to
I,
twist that and say no, 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 but you're not for open borders and refugees and saving and helping the poor.
it's true.
It's two
Yeah,
separate issues.
they're completely separate issues.
They really are.
I love the world. I've traveled all over the world,
Except for Australia.
touring, except for Australia. There's very few countries that I haven't been to. Like I think it's
Yeah.
Australia, Japan, um, well, Hawaii's America, but I haven't been to Hawaii.
Mm.
But most of the world I've been to, I haven't been to Israel, but
Oh,
almost everywhere else I've been.
yeah.
And
I want to go
so
to Israel.
me too. I love countries. I think they're beautiful. And I don't understand this, like, if you love America, you hate other countries. It's like,
It's a stupid
no.
mentality.
When I go to their countries, I want to experience their country the same way when they come here, they want to experience us. And so that's the beautiful thing about having different countries is we have different rules, we have different politics, we have different food, we have different culturally, we're very different. You know, America has been this melting pot of blending, and a lot of the westernized countries have become that. But there's a right way and a wrong way, and you just have to follow rules. It's like there's nothing wrong with saying that you like to follow rules, and we welcome
100%.
people to come in from other countries, but just follow the rules. You know,
Mm.
you can't just say, "Oh, I want to come here and I'm going to bring my mindset that once was okay in the middle of Mexico City." Well, that's not okay in America.
No.
You'll go to jail. And as we know, there's a lot of their system in Mexico that's not regulated the way that it is here. Um, so you just have to come the right way, do things the right way. That doesn't mean we don't want people to come. Of course, we want people to come.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you. Um, so we'll just sort of backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the Pussycat Dolls, just because
sure,
I'm sure
sure.
that will intrigue people. What was the time frame in which you were in the Pussycat Dolls, and why did you leave? I mean, I already know the answer, but I think it would be good for the for everyone to see, because I've watched you on like
Yeah,
Stefan Molyneux, I've watched you all over the place. But
yeah,
yeah,
I've talked about a lot of it.
yeah, you have.
I joined the Pussycat Dolls at the end of '02. And that was me, Melody, and Nicole. And then
Yeah.
I left at the end of '05. Um, so it was a good 3 years of me being there. So I wasn't a 6 month member, you know, like as Robin has claimed. A lot of people
She's
have
been really
claimed
hard
that.
on you. Yeah.
Well, and you know, I understand why. She doesn't want people knowing what took place. I mean, if you were involved in some not good stuff, you wouldn't really want a lot of people to know about it. And the
Then
truth is,
don't do
I
the
kept
not good stuff.
exactly, exactly. But all the girls have spoken about it privately on their own. There's so much footage of each of us speaking about eating disorders, about sexual stuff, about you know, bullying, you know, about being paid little.
Did you make any money out of it?
No, not a whole lot.
No.
No,
Not
amazing. Not a whole lot.
No, I know.
We all have spoken about it separately. So it's funny to hear that she said that the Pussycat Dolls put out a statement against me that was, no, it's not true. Well, then they must be they must be recanting all of the things that they had said.
Oh, she's lying.
My truth, I wasn't in a girl group. I was in a prostitution ring. Quote, Kaya Jones was never a member of the Pussycat Dolls, but simply a pussycat reject who's looking for her 15 minutes of fame.
She wrote it. She wrote the press release. We never were allowed to write press releases. We never actually were allowed to make statements there was only two of us that were allowed to speak while I was in the group, and that was me and Melody. In fact, the other girls were told that they were not allowed to speak.
You and Melody were allowed or weren't?
Oh, me, Melody, and Nicole were allowed to speak, but the rest of the girls were not allowed to speak if we were doing like interviews on the red carpet.
That's intense. Why? Is that just part of the stipulations of your contract?
I think it was just to control the girls that were a bit more media trained than the ones that maybe weren't. I think every one of those girls were talented, though. All of us wanted to be a part of a group, and then we were part of this, not a group. It was controlled and contrived and manipulated. And so, you know, the truth is the truth. I can't wait till eventually all of the girls speak, because when they do, I won't be this weird girl that came out of the Pussycat Dolls that's telling my side of the story. It's a lot of the girls' side. I don't think they're ready to come out. Maybe they're still thinking it could help their career. Maybe. I don't know. I never released my journals. I never released my paycheck stubs, but, you know, I made it clear when Robin said that
You
she was
have
going to send
receipts.
me. Yeah, I have definite things that if I was to ever write a book one day, she would not want me to. Um,
Mm.
so that's why I said, let me speak my piece, because what I'm saying is the truth. If you really want me to put nails in the coffin, I can, and I haven't done that. And so, because I don't want to embarrass the girls, I don't want to humiliate people, but
No.
the root of it is we went through a horrible journey in that time. But I'm grateful that I got fame through this horrible journey, because it then got me to the where I am now. I mean, you can't say that, oh, well, it was a journey, but it for me, it was not what I wanted to be a part of. So I removed myself from it.
Yeah, no, I
So
understand.
ultimately, I just felt that it was not right. I didn't think it was right for young girls to want to look up to this and think that this was the right way to be, because it wasn't. I just felt that there was more. And so I've been, working on doing EDM music and solo stuff in Europe and Asia and Africa, hoping that that would, get me to where I wanted to be. And it did. It really did. Ultimately, I could still not share my Christian faith and values. I was still kind of, oh, it's about the party because of the music I sang.
Yeah.
And that made it really hard to say, well, but I love Jesus too. No one kind of wants to hear about that in a nightclub. And so I then was put at a crossroads. Do I want to tell people who I really am? And so when President Trump was elected, I felt like, okay, wait, I can say that I support him. And at the same time, I can tell people I really support God. And maybe they won't think that makes sense, or maybe they'll be confused, or maybe they'll get behind me. Maybe I'll lose fans, but maybe they were never my fans to begin with. So I was willing to take that chance. And I think it's worked out for the better ultimately, because you can love dance music and love Jesus.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
I
you
don't think
could,
the two are mutually exclusive.
no, they're not. But unfortunately, you can have pink hair and you can be politically, you know, incorrect, correct, all of the above, and still, support your country. I think that there's
Yeah.
a lot of misconceptions. If you have purple or pink hair, you're wild. You can't be conservative. If you're a former Pussycat Doll, if you're a pop singer, you can't love Jesus. The two don't go. It's like, well, but yes, they do. Like, I've been able to meet more people singing on a mainstream platform than if I just sang Christian music.
Yeah.
So now that I'm turning my music into more of Christian values and faith, I think I can bring a lot more people to being aware of what I've always had in my heart.
There's a
Um,
crossover.
yeah, there's a crossover that's happening, and I'm proud of it, and I'm excited. So we'll
That's
see.
really good. During your time in the Pussycat Dolls, were you personally a victim of any form of sexual abuse during the whole Harvey Weinstein
Yes,
type
yes,
debacle? You were.
yes, yes.
So it was because
Um,
sorry, abuse is a very broad term, and I don't expect you to specify.
no,
But
it's
when you say
not.
yes, what do you mean?
Mhm. I
If
mean,
that's okay for me to
having to
ask.
fight someone off of you in the back of a limo. I mean, being taken to
Yeah.
homes. I mean actual abuse. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
mean,
Sorry, just because I wouldn't have assumed that of you, but some people say, "Oh, I
no,
was
no, no.
sexually abused.
A
Someone
lot
slapped
of
my bra."
people.
Yeah.
That's not sexual
Someone's done that
abuse.
to me, and I just turn around and slap them. Like,
That's not
yeah.
sexual
Like, no,
abuse.
it's not.
There's
No,
no,
no, it's really not.
sexual. It's not.
So what you just
Sexual
described sounds
sexual
really intense.
yeah, sexual abuse, or having to, when you're being mistreated, and it comes down with a sexual innuendo, that's different. If someone taps you on the butt at a bar,
Yeah,
that's not
just tell
sexual
them to piss off.
abuse.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And I know what abuse is because I was abused as a child, so I'm very aware of, or privy to what abuse is. And so
What
for
it
me, it
really is.
was, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
it's so
think a lot of the girls that went through some of the stuff that they went through, I think they then embraced it. But we can't embrace abuse. We can't say that he really liked me or any of those things. I mean,
they try
that's
to
where we're,
justify it.
oh, for sure. For
Oh, that's
sure.
sad.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And when you were dealing with it, was it industry, known people in the industry, or was it just Hollywood known
Oh
people,
yeah.
like people that I wouldn't know who are super famous, but people known in Hollywood circles?
I think music people would know.
Oh,
I definitely may. If you're a recording artist, or some certain celebrities have been involved in it. I've been in situations multiple times, but it was all during my time in that group. And so that's kind of why, to me, it felt very controlled. It was, you're not being paid a lot of money. They're working you very hard. You're not allowed to eat certain things because you're always told you're fat or you're not pretty or you're not good enough. You're never enough. So you're
You're
very
chosen to be one of the hottest female bands ever, but okay.
right. But they to control you, it's you're not
Emotional
enough.
manipulation.
Correct. And so we all were very insecure. And so then you allow yourself to be treated a certain way because you're insecure. And then we weren't making enough money to really run away. It's like, which is why the prostitution comment I made is very
I remember
real.
it.
It's, you know, if you're
That's
having
what
to
got
sleep
Robin
your way.
angry.
Yeah, but it's a form of prostitution. If you're being or almost trafficked, it's if you're basically making nothing and your pimps and your handlers are controlling you and you can't run away and you don't know what to say to people and you're scared to tell people that could help you. When you do tell people that can help you, they tell you, well, you should just do it.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to management, they said, oh, you should just do it. And I'm like,
Well, that's great.
so this is normal? Like, this is the normal thing. And so it's not normal. But in order to control you, no, it should never be. And so in order to control you and manipulate you, it's part of the whole seduction process of it, which is if you sleep with this guy, he'll help your career and he's part of the team and you should want to do this. This is sexual predator of the highest order. And so we all went through it. I don't know if all of the girls are going to tell the truth one day. I hope they do. And when they do, I really can't, I mean, I can't wait. I do. Yeah, that's a good way to, yeah, I should pray for it because I think when it does, I think a lot of people will have a lot more respect for each of us. Because I know they went through it too, and it's not my place to speak about their abuse or what they went through.
That's true. Yeah.
But it wasn't just sexual. It was also mental. It was emotional, mental, physical, constant abuse.
Verbal?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
The only thing they didn't do was whack you with a crowbar.
Yes.
Wow,
Pretty
that's nice of them.
Yeah, but if you say stuff, yeah, that might happen.
And what got you through it all in the end? Would you say it was it a renewed faith
God.
in Christ, or did
God.
you have Christ the whole time? Or
I feel like I've always had Christ. Maybe one foot was in heaven and one foot on earth, and I kind of did that, you know. Yeah. And then you just decide to plant both.
Way, to be honest, but yeah.
Most Christians do. It's a journey. It's a journey to get to the center of your faith and the strength of what can get you through things. But every time I talk about him, every time I lean more on him, my faith has become stronger. And during that time, I could hear him in my spirit just saying that this is wrong and you need to walk away, and thinking, where do I go? This is my dream. I'm walking away from my dream. I'm walking away from the biggest opportunity of my life. And then in that moment, when you're 19, you think that it's, you know, what are you going to do? I don't have a life beyond this point. You know, you're looking at you're such a little, you know, tunnel vision. It's kind of like in high school, you know, high school's the most important. And so you forget, like, no, it's not. You know, who cares what people think of you in high school? You're going to be bigger and better outside of that. But at the time, I was this is the most important thing in my life. This is what I need to do. This is my dream. And so I was do I do it? Do I not do it? Should I do it? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I remember calling my mom, and my mom saying, I support you. No matter what you want to do, I support you. And she was the only person that gave me support. Every other person said I was great.
Family members?
Oh, I do.
But none of them said what your mom said.
No.
Oh, interesting.
You're going to be famous. Why would you leave right now? You're going to be so big.
Yeah.
And
there's so much value in that today. Fame is like such a
and it was,
value, and it can be a good value if you use it to do that.
Yeah, and you know, and my boyfriend at the time and was Nick Carter, and I'm thinking, you know,
was he really? I didn't know you dated him. That's so typical girl bad boyfriend. That's funny. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh in a disrespectful way. I didn't know that. I didn't do my. I didn't Google you right, clearly.
No, so of course I'm kind of like.
That's a hot blonde couple. Sorry.
Well, you're so funny. No, Well, I would have thought that that would have been easy, right? That would
Yeah.
have been easy for him to say, "You're right, you shouldn't be going through this." But he kind of was like, "No, that's the norm too." And I'm like,
Oh no. Yeah.
we
And
all were conditioned.
his life has been quite hectic. He has a dead sister, and there's a lot going on in that family.
He
So I'm surprised that would have been his response rather than get out if you can, sort of thing.
No, I mean, abuse is abuse. He endured it too.
No,
I think
I
that's
get
the
that.
thing
I
is
get
that,
that.
yeah, he endured it too. And I think that's why, some of the things I've heard about the allegations that have come forward on him, I think they're true. I
But
think
you
they're
never felt
true.
that way with him.
I went through a couple moments with him that, I mean, I left him for a reason. He didn't leave me.
True. True that.
So, and so if everyone knew how I left him packing bags in the middle of the night, racing out of our home,
Oh, okay.
it'd be safe to say that it wasn't a hunky-dory break.
Clearly.
No. So I feel like I was like double tagged with the punch. It was like
Oh,
Pussycat Doll
you poor
drama.
baby.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard.
Oh, it's tough to deal with.
But
So
I'm here
you're here now. You're telling your story. Yes.
now. I got through it.
Well,
Oh, it was
tell
crazy.
me a little bit about the climate in Hollywood in particular, because obviously middle America is what got Trump over the line, considering Hillary Clinton was supposed to win, and all bets are pointing to that. So what do you think, why do you think the climate in Hollywood is so anti-conservative, anti-God, anti-Christianity? And how is it for you being all those things? I feel like you're the pariah. Not you personally.
Oh
But
no, I
you
keep going.
and
I
everyone
keep
like you.
attacking it. No, I go after them.
Oh, do you? You're a bit of an
Yes,
egg
I
culture.
do. I think that it's important that we stand our ground, that there needs to be more women and men in Hollywood that say you can love God, you can still be famous, you can still be an actress, a singer, a dancer, you can still be positive in the community. This whole you need to be bad. You can't love God. You can't do good things. You shouldn't be philanthropy. It should always be about the photo opportunity. It's not true. It's not fair. There are a lot of good people in Hollywood. There are a lot of people that want their dreams to come true and come to Hollywood in hopes. And they shouldn't have to turn their back on their faith because of that. They shouldn't be put in these positions where they have to sleep their way up the chain of command.
Definitely.
That's not okay. What we're showing young kids is not okay. I think that the political climate right now in America is really heavy. A lot of people don't like Trump, but a lot of people don't really know his stance. They've never really watched a full speech.
They don't want to.
It's sound bites. It's manipulation of media. That's why it's so important for us to keep telling people. My sister the other day, who's total Democrat, who's getting her law
Really?
degree.
Okay.
Yeah, she's getting her law degree. She the other day was asking me a question about the NRA and asking me a question about conservative gun ownership and how does it work and all this. And I said, well, gun ownership isn't conservative. It's for everybody. And she's like, oh, well, then why is it dragged into the two? And I said,
Because they've married them
in order to
together.
control you, and to control you to believe this. So if you're a Democrat, you're anti-gun, but you could be a Democrat and own a gun. This is, our Second Amendment. It belongs to everybody, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. It's open. It's an open platform for all American that have these rights. And also the NRA, I was explaining to her how they helped arm African Americans with firearms, against the KKK and things like this. So when people are including them together, it's like, no, not to say that there haven't been people that were from these things that jumped
That's
into
two
other
separate
things.
Yeah.
But they're two separate things. So just educating. And so it was really funny by the end of the conversation. She was like, my professor just said what you said. And I said, does that mean you're coming over on this side?
Her eyes are opening up a bit. Because she may
And
be a
that's what we have to-
Democrat, but that doesn't make her a lefty necessarily. That doesn't mean
No.
and that there's a lot of people.
I was someone who thought like I need to be the center of the road. And I was definitely someone who was like, democratic views and all of that. So I look at it now and I'm like, no, I found my tribe. I did. And I'm really happy that I did. I'm really happy that I found people that love their country, no matter where it is, people that love God, people that love rules that see a police officer and just go, whatever you say, you know what I mean? They just don't want to get in trouble. They just want their life to be as simple and as easy as possible. And so without causing, there's enough conflict in the world. Let's not cause any more. That's what I'm noticing is a lot of conservative people, they kind of just, they follow the rules.
Yes.
And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No, but they should be a little bit more vocal when it comes to certain things, because I was at a rally on Saturday, a pro-Israel rally in my state, in my city.
Wow.
It's Sydney, Melbourne, in my home city.
Yeah.
And the pro-Palestine side was so big. It was like I felt like there were 500 people on that side, and then the pro-Israel side was like 50. So there's not enough conservative Christians, Jews, or just conservatives, anyone under that banner speaking up enough. And if they don't speak up enough, the left's stupidity will infiltrate its way into our laws, and we have to fight.
And it already started to.
Oh, it has. I'm sure it's worse probably in America. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is. But yeah, there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Well, and the thing is that, it's when you say that you support Israel, when you say that, Jews and Christians stand together, it's a controversial thing. People who don't have God or don't understand faith don't understand that we as Christians, we love Jews because our faith began there.
Absolutely. And Jesus was a Jew, so
yeah, there's no way around that.
JC,
so yeah, exactly. I'm down with JC too. And so that's the thing is that, the other side, when you see what is left of Israel, when you see what war has done to all of the, biblical regions, it's really, really sad.
Yeah.
If you look at an old map and see where Syria is and where the biblical, what was in Syria at one point, it really makes you start to understand that this is all biblical. It all comes down to anything that's holy land needs to be destroyed. And so the devil's a liar. That's kind of, the root of it.